Hey friends, welcome back to the This Day podcast. It's your girl Megan here, and I'm so excited for this next episode of the podcast. We have our friend and musician, and I think she's basically an encourager too now. When you hear the episode, that'll make more sense to you, y'all. Kayley Bishop, y'all, this girl is incredible. She is a musician here in Nashville, Tennessee, and she's hopping on the podcast today. Friends, I cannot wait for you to meet Kayley. I can't wait for you to hear her story. So, why are we waiting any minute longer? We are going to jump right into today's episode with our new friend, Kayley, right after a word from our sponsor. Hey everybody, welcome back to the This Day podcast. My name is Megan, and I'm so excited that you would take time out of your day to join us for the podcast. I want to take a minute to thank one of our incredible sponsors, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an incredible tool that you can use to get the help that you need for your mental health, because we all know that our minds are important to us. The Bible talks about renewing our minds. So we need to renew our minds daily. And if you are somebody that struggles with your mental health, or you know somebody that struggles with your mental health, you can get professionally licensed help with their round-the-clock therapy. They even offer Christian therapists to help you. If you are going through a hard time, you can use our code in the show notes below to get the help that you need today. Check them out. Kayley, I am so excited for this. We have some mutual friends here in Nashville, and we met through Bible study, and I am just so excited to hop on this podcast with you and talk about life, talk about Jesus, talk about all of the things.
Yeah.
So, girl, why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody what you're about, and maybe give a little fun fact about what you like to do outside of what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Kayley Bishop. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I've lived here for 11 years doing the music thing, singer, songwriter, performer. I go all over the country and the world at this point playing music, and I love it. I've been singing ever since I could talk, and my faith has been a huge part of my life. It was always something that was dear to me from the age of a little girl. But back then, I only knew of God. I never knew him personally. I didn't have an actual relationship with him. And that didn't change until I went through my divorce. And then my whole life got flipped side upside. What is it? Flip turned upside down. Gosh, I'm thinking of like the Will Smith rap from Prince
Yeah,
of Bel-Air.
the
I'm
Fresh
like,
Prince of Philly.
my life got flipped turned upside down. So I'd like to take a minute and sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the Kayley Bish of Nashville. Um, I'm crazy. So yeah, I've been doing that. And then most recently, I have started writing a musical. And I'm actually about to launch my own podcast called Bible Bish, where we talk about the tea. We talk about testimony tea, insofar as like the drama, the things that people are afraid to talk about, the shameful little parts, because God wants you walking free. The enemy wants you walking in shame. But if we can expose the shame, shine a little light on it, get it purified, we get maximized, and we start to walk in an abundant life that God had always prescribed for us. So that's what Bible Bish is. Come for the tea, stay for the truth. You might just leave changed. And then my fun fact is I'm going to Japan this summer, which is kind of like a new thing. Not sure how. I mean, I will learn Konnichiwa. I don't anticipate learning much more Japanese. It is a tonal language and very difficult to understand and replicate. I tried last December. I was in Vietnam trying to pronounce some of the words, and I'm just like, this is hard. This is hard. So, not sure I'll be learning much Japanese, but I can, a girl can dream.
I love it. That's fun though. I feel like Japan is going to be a fun place to travel, fun place to see, a lot of different things to see and do. Okay, but one of the questions we ask everybody that comes on the podcast is, what is keeping you present during this day? Because so much comes for your attention, right? So many
Yeah.
things come to seek at your mind, because you can wake up and be the most positive, joy-filled person and then go to bed and you're like, what just happened to my day? It like is wrecked.
Yeah.
So, what keeps you present? What keeps you grounded during today?
So, one thing that the Lord has been pushing me to do, I asked him a couple weeks ago what my frog was. And there's my next door neighbor. She's a boss entrepreneur and she has her own podcast too. And I listen to it. And she talks about eating the frog, which I think is a term within like the business realm or phrase rather. And eating the frog is all about attacking the high priority item on your to-do list. And that's and typically you know what it is because gives you that like gurgling like, oh, I don't want to do this, it's stressful, and you end up procrastinating or whatever. Like if you're me, you procrastinate with it. And but I just asked the Lord, I said, you know what, instead of me putting out my idea of what the frog is today that I need to eat, and also, if you eat the frog first thing in the morning, then the rest of your day is gravy. Like all of your other to-do lists are easy. There's not a lot of pressure. It's
Mhm.
just more flowy. So you want to eat the frog early on. And I asked the Lord, what is the frog? What is my frog? And he just said, discipleship. And I was like, okay. I had to kind of sit with that for a couple of days because I wasn't sure really what he meant, like me discipling people or my discipleship. And then in church on Sunday, a couple of days later, the pastor was talking about discipleship and how discipleship is all about abiding with God. We get discipled by him through abiding with him and getting to know him. And gosh, that was so good. And it further illuminates how church is not supposed to be a place to feed you. It's supposed to be the area in which you get confirmation on all of your time with God that you spend during the week. And anyway, I've been chewing on that a lot. And so I think especially right now with the Bible Bish podcast and everything else that's going on, he's like, Kayley, if you get with me and you allow me to disciple you in the morning during the day to prepare you for the rest of the day, you're going to be more productive than you ever imagined. And so much is going to come together for your good because I know you're going to be discipled by me and you're going to abide with me every day because you love me. And it's true, I love him. So that is probably the best way to stay present for me right now. That's what I feel commissioned to do.
That is so good. I've never heard it quite said like the frog scenario. I've never heard it said like that, but so often you do, at least I definitely feel in my soul and in my spirit where I'll go to like conquer a task at the start of the day and I'm like, I don't want to do this. What can I do? And I'll pick all the easy things and wait till
Yeah.
the end of the day to do the hard thing. And then I realize I'm like, it's 2 p.m. and I'm trying to do this like difficult task and I have no energy
Yeah.
or lack of energy. So then it takes me, 3 times longer than if I would have started at, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning to do
Well,
that task.
and that's because like you expel energy on avoiding things. I remember I was doing some songwriting for hire, and there would be all these random people, just I don't know, in the nation and beyond, that were kind of just weekend musicians trying to make something of what they did, and I would get pitched these ideas and I would get paid to write on their stuff, and I just remember there was one song that was so utterly bad, and I did not want to do it at all, and I put it off for like a month, and by the time I did it, I hated every part of it. I did not want to do it. And at the end, I realized that I spent an entire month spending energy on avoiding and hating that I had to do this project. I'm like, this is not worth the money anymore. Like, if I feel this about doing this song or just doing songs that I don't care about or I'm not inspired by, then why am I spending energy on this? And so I decided to basically stop doing that. It was a good aha moment for me to walk away and not participate in that way of earning money anymore and just kind of reassess and refocus. So sometimes it's good when you have those feelings because it makes you critically think about what you're involved in. But for me, it was like, I'm too much energy. Like I just wasted so much energy on this. Not good.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my word. I feel like any creative has been in that space, but it's realizing that you're in that space to get out so that you don't stay there too long and you're just wasting your time, wasting away in something that you don't like or that you really shouldn't be doing at the end of the day. Now, we have to talk about your music. We have to talk about everything that you have going on. So, share a little bit about what you have kind of in the work. Let's talk about first Bible Bish before we even get into the music, because this is something new. This is something exciting. You've been teasing it on socials, all of the things. But you're really passionate about it too. Like, this is like your heartbeat. So, share a little bit about all of the things with Bible Bish.
Okay. Bible Bish is totally born from a call from the Lord to be authentic without fear of man. And it started out just a few years ago, me getting that word and him saying, like, I want you to be authentic without fear of man. And my response was, God, I thought I was. Like, I thought I was authentic face to face with people. I thought I was authentic on stage. Like, I'm now singing songs about my divorce. Like, I'm really going there, like being open and honest. And it took me a while to realize that I was not authentic online. I was hiding that part of me. I was hiding like my faith transformation, what God was doing in my life, the words he was downloading to me, and what was happening within my internal heart change. And I was afraid to talk about it because in the Nashville music industry, you get afraid of what people think of you. And I'm like, if I am honest about who I am in faith, people are going to have something to say. And if they reject me, then what is that going to mean for my career? Thereby, I was placing all authority in my life in the man's of hands, in the hands of man, instead of in God's hands, who basically, like, anybody who takes refuge in the Lord will find joy. If I want to have a joy-filled life, I will take refuge in him. But to take refuge in God means that I trust him. And so little by little, I said, okay, I trust you, God. I'm going to start talking about what you're doing in my life online. And I did. And those posts like caught fire. And I was kind of surprised by the response. And then a friend of mine who's made several viral videos, she's huge on like TikTok. She's got like 1 million followers. She's like, Kayley, you got to name it something. And I was like, okay, well, what if I just call it Bible Bish? And thus became Bible Bish. And I started doing these talking heads on Instagram. I still haven't even done a ton, but I've done enough that it started to create wind or catch wind in town.
Yeah.
And people will come up to me and say, Kayley, like, you don't know me at all. And honestly, I'm not even a Christian, but I really needed what you said the other day. And it made me more approachable in town. And yeah, did people have something to say? Like, oh, Kaylee's so Christian now, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, good, call me out. Like, that's fine. Like, you're calling out the truth, and I'm fine with that. And then there was another chain of events that ended up making this something that I knew needed to be on a podcast. And I had that heartbeat too. Like, I wanted to do that. So it's now become a full-fledged podcast, and I'm in the filming stage right now. I'm really excited about it. And then hopefully I'll be releasing it in the next month or two.
That's so fun. Um, and it's fun how God called you to do it. You acted on it, you didn't wait around and
Um,
you you went after his call. And you talked about, staying true. Like how do you stay true? Because like Nashville's a town, like it'll eat you up. It'll eat you up hard and fast. Like how do you stay true to yourself here in this town and in the industry?
well, first of all, I can't hang around people that aren't authentic.
Yeah.
It's like the people that aren't authentic are terrified of being authentic. And if I want to walk authentically, I can't be around those people. And that sounds kind of harsh, but I find that the people that I spend time with that bring out my best are the ones that I need to be surrounding myself with. And it's just like the Bible says, like, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. And that doesn't mean I can't be friends with unbelievers, but when it comes to me and my breakthrough, my heart things, my hard things, like all of that, when I'm doing life with people, they've got to be equally yoked in faith with me because they're going to understand me. They're going to be encouraging me. They're going to be contending for my breakthrough spiritually and in the natural. And those are the ones that I'm finding myself like really cleaving to right now in this season. But also, it's just knowing that my value is not incumbent upon what man thinks of me. And man, like when you have God as like your biggest fan, like how can you go wrong?
Yeah.
And the people that are struggling with that concept, they just don't know him. They don't have him as a resource. They know he's there, but they're not relying on him as a resource. And he's like, I don't know why you're not talking to me or relying on me because I can give you the keys to success here. And we just have to open our eyes to the abundant availability of his, I don't know, his storehouse. Like he's got everything we could ever need in
Mhm.
excess, in
Yeah.
excess. So
Yeah, exactly. And I almost wonder how different sometimes our perspectives and even, the industry would be if people realized, there's a God who sees them, he knows them, he's
yeah,
there for them. If people would just grasp that concept. But sometimes, we elevate that concept to a place where it doesn't need to be elevated, when it's just blatantly right there.
yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Now, music, you're obviously an artist.
Mhm.
So, share a little bit about your latest song that you have out
Okay.
and like just the message behind that and your journey to get to this point.
Yeah. So I just released a record in October called Little Dove. That's the name of the record, but it's also the name of the title track on the record. And that one actually was never supposed to be on it, oddly. Like I knew I wanted to call my record Little Dove because that's been my nickname for the last few years. And it's the name, it's the nickname that I got as a result of the transformation that I went through in 2020. And it was a spiritual transformation. It was also a relational and circumstantial transformation. Everything changed in my life in one fell swoop. And I remember my therapist asking me what God's name was for me. And I was so perplexed by that question. But almost instantaneously, I replied, Little Dove. And it kind of shocked me that I even said that because I would never call myself little and I would never call myself a dove. And I just remember the look on his face, and he looked at me and he said, yeah, that is God's name for you. Tell me more about that. And I was like, well, I used to be able to puddle jump and get to and fro, but I was never in flight. And I think doves are more beautiful in flight. And I feel like God's breath is under my wing. And it just was like Holy Spirit saying it. I never could have said that on my own. It was so clearly Him. And the crazy thing is, this is what happens when you think Holy Spirit is speaking. You have to walk in faith that it is so. And I believe that that was what God was saying. And so instead of like just questioning it and disregarding it or dismissing and minimizing it, I decided to run full fledged with it as my banner. And it became my brand logo. The dove is all over everything I do, podcast, music, everything. And and further, I was like, this song, Little Dove, is going to come to life. And I was terrified of writing it for so long. And then through a series of limiting beliefs that God extinguished in me, I found myself writing with someone who I really admired. He wrote, his name is Jason Nix. He wrote Things a Man Ought to Know for Lainey. And I found myself in a room with him and I pitched him the idea and we wrote it together. And I was so afraid. I was so afraid to write it. I had already recorded the whole album except for that song. And so I recorded the Little Dove song a year later and then put the whole project out. And the whole thing, the whole record, Little Dove is really like the transformation song of who I was in the cage, in the bird cage, and then who I am in flight. But it's about I have a divorce song on there called Seven. I have another song about a wasted wedding gown, and Hold On Honey, which is all about persevering through a hard thing into the breakthrough. Um, and then, just a few other things about like calling out toxic relationships and settling for potential when God has so much more for you. And so the record I'm really, really proud of. And it was definitely a season that I needed to write and walk out. And now I'm heading into a place of loving writing faith based music. Like I think my next record I put out will be all faith based.
Very cool. I love that. I love how, once again, like just one simple thing turned into a lot of big things for you.
Yeah.
So, where can people stay up to date with what you're doing, with what you're releasing? How can they keep in touch with you?
I would love for people to follow me on all the socials, but more than that, like go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. I haven't been sending a ton out lately, but I want to get back into it. Um, find me at kayleybishop.com or go to biblebish.com and sign up for the newsletters there. You're really going to have more of an intimate connection with me there, I would
Yeah.
say. And and yeah, I mean, like I try to be all over social media just because it's necessary. And to me, it's not about like bringing glory to my platform. It's more about me getting the message out. And the more people that follow me, the more of an opportunity that the message can go. And I care a lot about the message. I care a lot about what God is trying to say to his people. I care a lot about the invitation that Jesus has for everyone to know him intimately, to be set free. And like, if there's anything I can do on this planet while I'm alive, while I've got God's breath in my lungs, like, it's telling people that there is like a blessed freedom that they can have in
Yeah,
faith. And so that's kind of been like the heartbeat behind everything I do.
absolutely. That's so good. Well, thank you, Kayley, for coming on the podcast. It's been so, so sweet to hear your heart and to hear everything that's in store for you and just happening right now. It's been
Thanks,
precious.
Megan.
Hey, friends, I just wanted to take a quick minute to take a break from the podcast to talk to you about an incredible sponsor of our podcast, the Long Run Media and Management Coaching Program. Y'all, if you are somebody that just needs a little coaching in life, if you are looking for a way to elevate your business strategy, check out the coaching program. This coaching and consulting for your business can elevate your brand to the next level. If you're looking for help in social media, if you're looking for help in building your brand, in simple development, or in any website building, or whatever that may look like, maybe it's your personal growth. This coaching plan and consulting plan for your business or your personal development as a whole is here to help you. Click the link in the show description below. We believe in this, and we've seen it with our own eyes, how one sound voice can carry somebody through to the next step. Check it out in the show description. Well, friends, thanks so much for joining us today with another episode of the This Day podcast. Make sure you go ahead and follow Kayley on all the social media platforms she's on, and check out what we're up to next on all the social media platforms we're on. To find links to anything mentioned, you can check it out in the show description below. Know that you're loved.